Cucamelons, mouse melons, Mexican sour gherkins. Right off the bat, I'll admit I've never tasted one. They're supposed to taste like a citrusy cucumber. Sounds nice, but I really don't care what they taste like. I'm not growing them for the taste. I'm growing them because they're so darn cute. I mean, who doesn't want to hold a handful of miniature watermelons? Cucamelons are heat-loving tropical plants, and they do really well in warm climates. But if you live in a cool climate, either plant them where there's a ton of sun or in a greenhouse. I tried growing cucamelons last year, but with just about zero success. Out of about 20 seeds, I think 2 actually germinated, and those 2 withered away within just a couple of weeks after they came up. Now, cucamelons really want to be germinating in warm soil. And that was my first problem. I planted them in the ground in early April, and we didn't have warm soil. And at that time of year in that location, we didn't have much sun either. It was about a half a day of shade. In the summer, that's a sunny spot, but they didn't start out that way. The second thing is they take almost a month to germinate under ideal conditions. So I wasn't set up for success from the beginning. So because of both of those things, I'm not taking any chances this year. I'm going to give them the heat they need by growing them, not for sure in the ground and not in a seed tray, but actually starting them in paper towels on a heat mat. So instead of, if you put them in a seed tray on a heat mat, it would still be better than what I did last year. But the heat still has to go through about an inch of seed starting mix. So we're going to cut that out. We're going to just grow them right on a wet paper towel in a plastic bag on the heat mat, bring the heat right to the seed. I had good success a couple of months ago doing my papayas this way, and they're heat-loving tropicals, so I figured this is the way to go. So what we're going to do is we are going to take water. It's about a 50-50 mix. It doesn't have to be perfect. And hydrogen peroxide. And what hydrogen peroxide does is it actually weakens the seed coating so that it softens it up and it allows that seed an easier time breaking through. So hopefully we're going to get quicker germination and easier germination. So once we've got our mix there, we're going to take the paper towels and just get them wet. You just want them damp. All right, so we're going to lay these paper towels out flat. And I'm just going to sprinkle them around half of it. Fold it over. Fold it again. I'll plug in the mat, lay them flat. Okay, so I was just getting ready to film the pepper planting, the seed planting video for peppers, and they're going to use a heat mat, and it got me to thinking about the cucamelons that we just planted 4 days ago. The video hasn't even come out yet, and I was growing them in a paper towel and putting them on a heat mat to speed germination because they're sometimes slow to germinate. Well, would you believe that 4 days later, like I said, we haven't even had time to get the first video out. That's why we're combining the two. We've already got germination in almost all of the cucamelon seeds. So we're now going to take a little tray. It's got 6 cells in it, and we're going to put still 2 seeds, sprouted seeds at this point, in each cell, just for insurance. In case something happens to one, we can make sure that at least one comes up in each cell. So I'm going to use my fingers, I think, just really gently. You don't want to break that root. And take a look at this. Okay, so I'm just going to put 2 in each one. All right, so Just going to press them into the soil just so they make contact. And then I'm going to cover them with perlite. What perlite will do, instead of putting a layer of compost on top, which stays pretty moist, the perlite is a very lightweight, it's still porous, so it still holds water, so it's going to keep it, you know, humid and moist in there, which the seed needs, but it's not going to be overly heavy and soaked, which is going to save the seeds from damping off, or at least help them not to damp off. Damping off is when you've got a good, your seedlings look really good, and then you come out the next day and they're just kind of wilted over and dead. I'm just going to put some perlite, fill these the rest of the way up, I don't know, about a quarter of an inch or so. Press down just so everything makes contact. I did have the seed compost already pre-moistened, but I'm going to set it in a tray of water and let it wick the water up just to make sure everything is nice and wet. Then I'll remove it from that tray and I will put it out in the sun. I think it's warm enough here now. If you're in a colder climate and you still have frosty nights and maybe even nights in the 40s, I would still put this inside under grow lights. So anyway, that was a quick update. Didn't know I was going to be doing one. Oh, and make sure you label. Don't want to forget that, so you know what they are. And these should be coming up in just a couple of days because they're already sprouted. So we're well ahead of things. I'll see you guys on the next video.